Hi there guys, Prash here from Single to Taken for another video. So what I've done this time is I've had questions from my subscribers and I'm going to be giving an input on it, and we're going to ask the women on the street what they think. What more better way than to get an answer to something relating to dating than to go to the source itself directly. Right, so the question is, how does a man approach a lady he likes and gets her number? How does a man approach a lady he likes and gets her number? That's a great question. Some of you might think that, oh, that's one of the most basic questions. It's actually one of the most important questions. So thank you so much for sending that question in. Now, with reference to making an approach and speaking to her and obtaining a number, I can go on all night talking about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief overview from making that first approach during the first encounter, to transitioning to a conversation to flow, to asking for the phone number. So I'll split this into about 3 parts. So let's go on to the approach. So you're at an event, you're on the street, she walks past, or at a party or anywhere, but you're not quite sure what to say or what to do. One of the things that I recommend you to do first of all is to observe what it is that she's wearing, observe what it is that she is doing or how she is, and make your opener based on that. So you have to use your observational skills over here. Hayley Quinn talks about something called observe, assumption, and relate. So that could be one of the options, or you can even do a compliment based on an observation, which I'll go on to next. So say for example, she is, let's try and think of an example over here. Say for example, she's holding a load of books. So if she's walking down the street and you see her, you can, hey, I just noticed that you're carrying loads of books. It looks like you're on your way to an interview. It reminds me of my days after I'd graduated and when I was looking for a job. Now, can you see how you've observed something about her? You've made an assumption that, oh, I see you're carrying loads. I noticed that you're carrying lots of books. It looks like you're going to an interview, and then relating a backstory back to you. That's one thing that you can do. Another thing which you can do is, and this is my favorite way, is give a compliment opener based on something observational to her. Now, don't use a generic compliment like you look nice or you look lovely or you look gorgeous or beautiful. That's too generic, because a woman's going to listen to that and she's going to think to herself, well, he could have said this to another woman. So find something about her that she's wearing that you're fascinated with, or something that she's doing, or something that she's holding, and make a compliment opener based on that. So I'll give you an example. One time I was in Stratford Westfield and I saw this lady who had pink glasses, and I walked up to her and I said to her, hey, I know this is going to sound really cheeky, but I just saw you walk past and I had to come and say hi to you because I just love those pink glasses. You look like a French Hello Kitty, because she had a French look as well. So I said that to her. Now, can you see how that is a lot more personal and a lot more bespoke to her? And therefore it's more, she's going to feel more connected to that and more resonate to that than just saying, oh, you look gorgeous. Can you see how that's a lot more bespoke? So use your observational skills, find something about her that you like, which is unique and specific to her, and base your compliment on that. And then after that, you can just handshake, introduce yourself. My name is such and such, you are, and then get the conversation going from there. So use your observational skills. That's very, very important when carrying out the opener. Now I'm going to move on to the second part, which is the actual conversation itself. So you've gone over her, introduced yourself, used an opener of some sort. So you've approached her, opened up a conversation from cold, and then now you want to transition that into having a flowing conversation. So what I like to do is I like to ask some slightly different questions, and I'll give you some examples of this that you can start using. So one of the things you can do is you can say to her that, oh, you look like you're breaking a shopping record. So if she's out on the street and she's got loads of bags, you can ask, oh, you look like you're breaking a shopping record. Rather than asking what you're up to today, you can do an assumption about what it is that she's doing. Now, can you see that how that you're asking you're forcing a response from her without actually asking a question, because you don't want to go into this Mr. Interview that, what are you up to today? Where are you from? What are you doing tonight? Can you see how that's just going to sound like Mr. Interview? So any question that you want to ask, turn into a form in a statement or an assumption about what it is that she's doing. If she was walking really quickly and said, you know what, you look like you're running from the police, or you look like you're running to a job interview, you're late for something, and then she will say something without you asking a question. After that, you can ask her, if you're at an event like a networking event or a party or any sort, Here are a few selection of questions that you can ask that will make you stand out. So rather than asking what you do, you can ask her, what is it that you love most about what you do? That way she's going to say what she does and what she likes about it. Another one is, imagine if she says she's a lawyer. Ask her, what inspired you to become a lawyer? What inspired you to do that? Or what do you love so much about being a lawyer? Now, can you see how when someone asks you this question, you have to think about it a little more? Whereas if you ask something generic, like where are you from, what do you do, people already have an autopilot response in their mind already. So you're not really creating any impact. Whereas if you ask something slightly different, or which is a deviation from the expectation, then already you've made yourself stand out, because she has to think about it a lot more when she's speaking. So it's going to activate another part of the brain, and that's going to make your interaction more memorable from other guys. So another thing you ask is, what cool hobbies do you have? What do you like so much about those hobbies? And I'll give you another thing in addition to asking questions about this and how speaking is, listen to what it is that she's saying. Really listen and pay attention closely what it is that she is saying. Why is that? Because you're going to base the next thing you're going to say based on what she's said. So let's just pick an example. Imagine you've asked her, oh, where are you from? And she says, Italy. Okay, what it was. Now, you can go about 3 to 4 different ways from this. You can ask an open question, which is what it was like growing up in Italy. So she'll give you her life history based on that. You can give a backstory, that if you went to Italy, what you did over there and what you got up to over there. So if you had a holiday, if you've been to Italy, you can give a little tease, such as, oh, you must be really fiery and really passionate, you know, give me your slightly angry look. So that's a little tease you can do there. Or you can give a random fact about it. The homeland of Ferraris, or the homeland of Lamborghinis. Can you see that's 4 different ways, and then you just pause and you just carry on talking. So I hope this helps. I'll go into this in a bit more detail, and I may create an online course for this. But that's that. After you feel you've had a conversation going where it's flowed, then you can ask for the number. Well, another thing in relation to when you're speaking to her is, place the spotlight on her, really listen to what it is that she's saying and make the conversation about her. Don't boast too much about yourself. Ask her questions relating to her, because what do people like talking about the most? Themselves, right? So focus the conversation and the spotlight on her. After you feel you've had a good conversation, be the first one to exit, because in that way you're going to come across as non-needy. And after that, just be straight up and say, hey, it's been really cool to meet you. I'd love to carry on this conversation. Let me get your number. That's it. Own it when you say it. But keep this in your mind as well, that when you're asking her for the number, don't think that you must get the number. Be prepared to be rejected. So in that way you come across as non-needy. Because a lot of times what you say, it's not based on what you say, but how you say it and what place it's coming from. So if it's coming from a place of that you don't care about it as much, you're more likely to get the number, as opposed to if you, oh, I really need this, I want this. If you're coming with those energy and those vibrations, you've lost already. Well, I hope this is helpful. This is a little overview that I've given you now. Let's see what the ladies say.
The most important thing is to be respectful and, you know, just be kind, and she will give you her number.
Yeah, I think the man approach to a woman, I want the number. If it was me, I would say in a relaxing way and try to be funny at least. So he talks to me, not straightforward, say, oh, can I get your number? I would think it's creepy. So yeah, I think just make some jokes or talk about how I look, or, you know, that's basically how I think. At least not make me think you're a very weird guy. That's how I think.
Anything else?
Not really. I don't normally give numbers. Yeah, I don't. So I can't really think of any. If the guy is really well dressed, or the way, you know, how they look like is the way I like them to be, that would help. But other than that, because it's stranger, right? So the first thing they need to do is make me feel unsafe to talk to this person. So that's how I feel. That's it.
I really don't like it when people give us chat up lines. That's a no-go. I think it's just if someone can make us laugh. So if someone comes over and tries to be quite genuine and start a normal conversation and get a giggle out of us, that should work. I don't like it when people are sort of a bit too pushy. It's a bit of a no-go. And confidence is key.
Okay. When you say to be more genuine and authentic, what would that look like?
I don't know, No, just like, I think a compliment always goes far with a girl to start off, and just start chatting. Like if there's in a bar and there's music, say, I don't know, something relevant to the setting or something.
Okay, then progress in that to get the number?
I think it can't be a straight away thing. I think you need to sort of get talking and like find the right moment. I don't think there's a sort of specific way to do that. I think it's just where if you start laughing, conversations flowing, then it would be a normal natural progression.
Well, I'm not sure. It depends on the situation, but I believe that being funny, it's a really good way. So that's it.
Yeah, so please take away the cheesy lines. That's the ultimate thing. And you can approach if you feel like you have the capability to get the phone number, so get it. Yeah.
I think it should be very straightforward, like just go and ask her for like the number.
Definitely not a chat up line. I think that you should just say hi and talk to people like a normal person, as opposed to trying to come onto them really forcefully.
I think that he should just be confident and go and ask. So wherever he is, and the same with girls, just go up, be confident and ask.
So I think men should just have the courage to have a normal conversation and not try too hard.
Okay.
Yeah. So just ask the simple questions.
When you say ask for simple questions, could you give an example of what they could speak about if they're at an event or?
Just ask what they're up to. Are they at uni? Are they? What sort of work they do. That's normally a good thing. People normally have a lot to say about their work or uni, don't they?
I think just be really straight up and be like, I'm not going to beat around the bush and be like, what's your number? I think girls hate it when you try and like, yeah, beat around the bush.
I think that there's too much pressure for it to be an awkward thing. I think that people should just feel fine and you see someone you like.
Should be you. I mean, you can't just go and talk to a girl and if she's interested, she'll give you the number, right? No, please, like cheesy lines are never the things to attract someone, so yeah.
Go and chat, go and say hi, go and be friendly. And just ask, can I have your number? How are you? What are you doing? Do you fancy a drink? She says no, but she might say yes.
So you've just got to be honest. You've just got to be honest and upfront and just ask for someone's number. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. Honesty, really. Just if you're just upfront, confident, and you say that you like someone, what's the worst that can happen? Like the worst they're going to say is no, and that's not the end of the world.
The best way to do it is just to be, like very confident and go for it. Like not the worst that can happen is like to be slapped in the face or something. Which I think is worth the risk. Try.
Okay, I think you should ask them why they're there and what they do in the area, and then I'd probably ask if they got a boyfriend so that you don't waste your time. And then I think from there you'd know whether you like them or not, and then if you're just kind of in it to get with them and you're not bothered if you like them or not, then just keep asking the questions.
Right, welcome back. Well, I hope that's helpful. So a lot of the ladies just said that it's okay to just walk up to a woman and just start a conversation and just speak to them. And what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is she'll say no or you'll get rejected. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of men are held back from going and speaking to the woman they like is because they're worried about either embarrassing themselves or getting rejected or her saying no. And I totally understand that. But if you just reframe it and don't say that either she'll like you or it will be just another experience. Because when you're saying that you're going to get rejected, it's like you're putting a negative label on it. So if you take away that negative label and say that it's just going to be another experience, it's not going to be so much of a big deal. The question that I ask my clients if they're afraid of rejection is that, okay, you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of rejection. What would you be like without that thought? And if you take that thought away, and if you don't see it as rejection and just another experience, so you're just looking at it neutrally, you're observing it without meaning, rather than placing a negative label on it that she doesn't like you and that she's rejected you, which is like this big thing. Can you see how you're tricking your mind into, when you're being rejected, you're just seeing it as another experience? It'll either go well or it will just be another experience. Or another thing you can do, you can think to yourself that it's either going to go very well or it's going to go very funny. So can you see how you're not placing a negative label on that rejection? So then that way you're going to be without that thought, your fear will be less, and you're going to have a much better chance of getting that woman's number and not be affected negatively by rejection. Yeah, I think there's just too much pressure on that. Don't place that. By you relabeling rejection as another experience or just funny, what you're doing is you're not putting too much pressure on yourself that you're going to get rejected, because either way you're still going to be happy. It's not going to affect your self-esteem and your confidence. So I hope this helps, guys. If you've got any questions, send them over. I'm going to put my email address at the bottom. Email your questions and I will give you my input, and I'll get the ladies to answer your questions for you. Well, I hope this helps. You know the drill. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on another video. Bye for now.